Hey guys, AuspiciousAussie here, and welcome back to another TEW 2016 series. This is going to be episode 1 of my newest series. We're going to be Kyle Rhodes, going to be the owner of TCW, Total Championship Wrestling. Now, of course, this is going to be the introduction episode. I haven't actually played TEW in about 2 years, so I'm going to be pretty rusty at the game, but this is going to be my first playthrough since then. And this series is hopefully going to be quite a pretty long and interesting one. And I'm really looking forward to it. Now, my reason behind starting with TCW is to try and become the best company in the world. Obviously, ahead of us, we are third currently, but ahead of us we have US Pro and the SWF, as you can see in here. Where are they? Alright, US Pro's down here. United States Pro Wrestling, they're in first, and then we have the SWF, Supreme Wrestling Federation, they're in second, and of course we are currently at war with them, so it's going to be a very interesting series to say the least. If you could drop a like for the return of TEW, be very much appreciated on this episode, and like I said, we're going to go through a lot of things today. Of course, we're going to go through the titles, the roster, the broadcasting deals. We're going to go over. We're going to do all of our signings in this episode. I'm not going to sign anyone between now. We will be signing people in this episode, but we won't be signing anyone at the end of this episode, and of course going into the next one. So, yeah. First things first. Let's go over the titles. Obviously, you can see the graphics that I have alongside the left and the right side of your screen. Just, some nice graphics there. The current title holders in the company. Better than looking at two black bars going down the side of the game. And obviously, it'll help you guys keep up to date with who's the current champions. Obviously, if you have a title change, I will change the graphics to those people. So as you can see, our current World Heavyweight Champion is Aaron Andrews on the left there. And currently the title is at 93 prestige. So not too far off that perfect sort of prestige level, so I don't think it'll take too long for us to get that up there. And as you can see, we do have a minimum weight being lightweight for that title, so yeah, everyone has to be lightweight or above in order to be in contention for that title. Next we have the International Champion, and that is of course Mark Speed, as you can see in the bottom left-hand corner there. It's basically the mid-card title. I'm going to have a lot of different talent from around the world competing for this title. As you can see on the belt there, we have America, Canada, the UK, Great Britain, of course, and Japan there as well. A little bit, disappointing not to see Australia, the Australian flag on that title belt, but hopefully we'll be able to defend it either in Australia or against some Australians in the future. And finally, we have the TCW World Tag Team Champions, Killer Shark and Titan, the Behemoths. So, yeah, as you can see, I've changed Killer Shark's picture. I much prefer his alt picture over the standard one. And as you can see, he is over on that left-hand side. So, yeah, that's the titles. I want to go over a quick creative meeting. As you can see, Rocky Golden is number 1 in franchise players. He is the ace of the company. And as you can see here, for good reason, 100-star quality, 96 A-star babyface rating there as well. Lacking a little bit of charisma, but obviously, he's pretty good. He's definitely pretty good. I would say he's probably the second best in the company, in my opinion. I really rate this guy, Wolf Hawkins, number 8 in the Power 500, which is, it's a pretty decent rating to be for a wrestler. And as you can see, he was also personally trained by the legendary Tommy Cornell, who of course signed him when he was in charge of TCW. In terms of Wolf's attributes here, he's pretty amazing. And he's only 29 years old, 92 star quality on him, 98 sex appeal, and he's a 98 A-star rated heel, which is a very important thing. We're going to be having heels and faces as they regularly do. So, yeah. Behind him we have Sammy Back, a pretty wily veteran, very, very solid, as you can see. Top row is not as impressive as some of the other people we have in the company, but as you can see, his performance skills really make up for that. Very good on the microphone, and again, 98 A-star quality, and then we have 99 sex appeal there as well. And he's pretty versatile, can play both the babyface and the heel quite well. Probably going to be in the title hunt, I would assume, going forward. We then have the 45-year-old Ricky Dale Johnson. As you can see, he's probably deteriorating a little bit. Top row is not very great. He's more of a brawler. Performance and physicals are probably dropping a little bit due to his age. But he's also very good on the microphone. And he's also got a pretty decent level of star quality. And finally, we have the champion. I mentioned him before, Aaron Andrews. By far and above the best up-and-comer that we have currently. Incredible top row on him. A lot of C's, 72 B- brawling there as well. Obviously, his performance skills will increase as he versus guys like Rocky and Semi Back and stuff like that. So, really, looking for him to become I would say at least the second best heel in the company behind Wolf. And obviously, there's a possibility that we'll lose either one or both of Rocky Golden and Wolf Hawkins going in the future due to their contracts eventually running out. And obviously, we're going to be up against the two big boys, possibly even some of the guys from Japan and Canada. So actually, maybe even south of the border, now that I think about it. In terms of next big things, we've got Jay Cord here. Very, very impressive youngster. Of course, the son of the legendary Ripcord. Of course, named after the massive tournament in Mid-Atlantic Wrestling. Very, very solid heel. Really looking to elevate him up the card, going into the first 5 or 6 months of the series. He's going to be competing in a feud against Mighty Mo, who was another pretty impressive mid-card talent, although he's nothing like Jay Cord, let's say that. I really want to sign him to a new 10-year contract to really keep him in the company, because I definitely think that he's the future alongside guys like Wolf Hawkins and Aaron Andrews. So, yeah. Hot prospects. We've got a few guys on here. We've got Ed Stone, who is a Canadian. As you can see, he is part of the Canadian Animals with Freddie Huggins. I'm looking at him as sort of a mid-card talent. I feel like he's pretty decent. He's not bad. Definitely mid-card level. And I think him and maybe like guys like Mighty Mo. There are a few other guys. I guess Matt Hocking you could throw in this sort of race. They're all sort of mid-card talent level that are going to be fighting it out for the international title. So yeah. Underneath them, we have the Behemoths, of course, Titan, 29 years old. Probably the lesser of the two in terms of quality and potential, I would say. The two big boys, of course. And then we have Killer Shark under him, only 25 years old. And as you can see, he's a little bit more impressive, more star quality, good power. They both really lack stamina. So my thoughts with them, obviously they're the champions at the moment, we're going to have them do squash matches similar to the Viking Raiders or Viking Experience, whatever the hell they're called. And we're just going to build them up and try and get that stamina up to a decent level where they can sort of have at least 10-minute matches for the titles. That's sort of the goal. Anyway, moving on. We've got the talk here. Eddie Peak, not too bad, 39 years old. We've got a very aging roster, as you can see. I think he's really good, and we're gonna use him quite a bit. He's another really good level or high level heel talent that we have. He can also play babyface pretty well. So maybe I think he's a heel at the moment, but we might change him up just to have some competition for some of our other better heels. In terms of showstoppers, Sammy Back, Wolf Hawkins. We've got Benny Benson here, who's 35 years old. He's a pretty good talent. I would say upper mid-card, maybe mid-card at worst. But honestly, he's too old. He's not going to be developing into anything else. So I think that he's sort of going to stay at that level. I don't really think he's ever going to make a main event level push or anything like that. The ring generals, these are, of course, some of them, older guys that we do have. We've got Joel Bryant, 44-year-old. Absolutely amazing, performance skills from him. Pretty good technical wrestling ability as well. He's a mid-carder. He'll probably stay there for the rest of his career. He might even drop down to lower mid-card. Don't really have anything, to do with him in terms of plans. But, yeah, I'm pretty happy with him. And Brent Hill is a similar type of person or a similar type of worker. 45 years old for him as well. He's probably a little bit better. Could probably throw him into the upper mid-card level, at least to see out the end of his career, depending on how he deteriorates. So, yeah. The final guy in here is Brian Vesey, 44-year-old. He's very good in the Power 500, number 71. And as you can see, for good reason, he's still a main event level talent. Couple of Bs, B minuses in his top row, 90A psychology, and then 95 A-star basics on him. So yeah, good stuff there. Good to see that Jay Cord's actually in there, despite being so young. So I'm pretty happy with that as well. Obviously, who's hot and who's not. Now, this is the important area because we've got 5 people, a minimum of 5 wrestlers in the time decline. Like I said before, our roster is very, very old. And we need to replace them. We're going to make quite a few signings. I think about 6, maybe 7 signings today. Obviously, we'll have a look at the hidden gems. And I assume a couple of the guys I want to sign will be on there. But yeah, we've got Eddie Chandler here. Don't really know why he's in TCW. He's only an opener. He's 40 years old. He's pretty good, to be fair, but I just don't really think I'm going to push him. He's too old, and I don't feel like he's going to be a beneficial member of the roster going forward. I mean, we'll probably have him for at least another 5 years. But again, I don't see him challenging for the world title. And, I mean, he might be a decent tag team wrestler. Nate Johnson as the Elite. That could be a possibility. We might look into that in the future. But yeah, we have the other guys there. Alright, so hidden gems. We'll go into this in a bit more detail. I'm going to sign at least 3 of these guys here. We'll try to sign them. I think Kirk Jamison gets snapped up pretty early on by our US Pro. So yeah. Now the next thing I want to go over... Actually, there are a few more members of the roster that I wanted to show you guys. American Buffalo. Again, he's 42 years old. But I think he's got a little bit about him, especially as a mid-carder, to try and get people over. Of course, his manager is... What's his name? Floyd Goldworthy. He's got very good microphone ability, so I feel like he's going to be beneficial in building... Well, American Buffalo has really good menace as well, so I think like a manager entertainment promo with menace for the client will definitely get him over and build the popularity needed. And then if I can have him, maybe lose a few matches here and there while still keeping him pretty strong. It says he's an upper mid-carder. I see him more as a mid-carder, especially due to his age. He is another one of the older guys at 42. We also have this guy, Human Arsenal. Tag team partners with Brent Hill as the Machines. But I think currently they're both... one's a heel and one's a face. So it doesn't really work out too well. But he's another one. Very, very similar stats to Brent Hill. I might bring them back as a tag team. And I think that's probably the way we'll go. They might even be the ones to challenge for the titles against the Behemoths. We'll have to wait and see. But another really old guy that is really good, but I just don't see him being or having much of a future at the top of the card going forward. And of course, they're all on pretty massive wages as well. Now, in terms of other people I'm looking at, I'll show you Mighty Mo. I mentioned him a few times. 26-year-old. It's one of the type of guys that we're going to try and push. Good star quality. I mean, he's not too bad in terms of his top row in-ring skills. I think he's going to be pretty good. He's more of a high flyer. What weight is he currently? Oh, he's a light heavyweight. Well, that works out rather well. So he can challenge for the heavyweight title. The world title. We've got this guy, Nate Johnson, of course, in the tag team with Eddie Chandler. Now, I'm not sure if they're an actual team in regards to here. They are. Okay. Well, that works out rather well. So they're both openers. We have the Elite, obviously, not the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega, but Eddie Chandler, Nate Johnson. I think they'll be a good sort of lower mid-card tag team, actually, now that I've looked at them. wow. Nate Johnson's actually really good. But he's also 39 years old, and Eddie Chandler's 40, so it's going to be tough. Now, these guys, of course, Guide and Scout, if you're familiar with TEW, you will obviously know who these guys are. As you can see, 5-time World Tag Team Champions. They're very, very good as well, but again, both older. Guide's 37, Scout's 37 as well. I mean, Scout looks pretty incredible. I don't think he's ever had a world title shot. Maybe he deserves one. Possibly. We'll just have to wait and see. I expect to give them another tag team title run at some stage as well. They're just too good not to use. Similar sort of thing for these guys. Divine Fortune, Daryl Divine, Chance Fortune. They're more on the younger side of things. Daryl is 32, and then we have Chance. He's a little bit older at 36, but still not that sort of old level. And then obviously we have the Canadian Animals, Freddie Huggins and Ed Stone. Already went over, what's his name? Ed Stone, but there is Freddie Huggins for you guys as well. Pretty good talent, probably upper mid-card sort of level. And they're going to have a few more title reigns, in my opinion. They've had 3 so far as a tag team, 100 experience, which is really good to see. And yeah. Now, the next thing we have to go over is the broadcasting. Now, before I do that, I want to show you the size. As you can see our importance there. We are currently a national federation or a national company. However, I do expect that to drop probably after the first month. I think it's a fairly common thing to happen. As you can see, we need over 65% importance in 8 regions. And as you can see, there's quite a few regions there that are all 66, 4 regions exactly. It's going to be very difficult to maintain that, especially with that aging roster. But in terms of popularity, 78B across the board in America, and we're also 58 C- across the board in Canada. A little bit of popularity in Mexico there, and basically what I'm going to try and do with the broadcasting, because, well, unfortunately, I've already done this off camera, but let me go through what's happened. Okay, so we have a deal here with the Pop Network. Now, in order for me to cancel this deal, they want 1.8 million. Now, obviously, that's a third of our money at the moment. We only have 5 million in the bank. It's not the worst deal in the world. We have small coverage in America for TV, and then also small coverage in Canada. It's going to go for 2 years, but it is a prime time slot. It's also a commercial style network, so we will be gaining a lot of money for each TV show that we have. So in regards to that, it's a good thing. But obviously, there are actually other networks that we could negotiate with that are better. I think the best we can do is big in the USA in terms of TV and medium TV in Canada. However, the 1.8 mil is the stumbling block, and obviously with big TV coverage in America, we're also going to have a much higher minimum quality. 55 C- for TV is easily achievable, and obviously that's fine. Now, in terms of our pay-per-view deals, I did change these before the episode. We had a normal deal, it was a medium deal in the United States, and that was it. What I did is I negotiated with them, and I cancelled the deal. They cancelled it straight away. Didn't have to pay any sort of compensation or anything. And we managed to get a deal with USA Free Choice pay-per-view, which is big in the United States. Now, I could have done primetime. However, it would have taken our minimum quality up 7 points to a 77B. And I thought that was a little bit too much, especially for the first year. I don't want to be, losing pay-per-view deals and, having bad sort of reputation going forward with some of these companies. So I thought a 1-year contract in the evening, 70 C+ minimum quality, absolutely perfect for what we want to do. And then we also got this deal as well. Pay-per-view services, medium coverage, and a minimum quality is also 70 C+, and that is prime time for 3 years. So I thought that's really good. Obviously, the TV network, we've got coverage in Canada, and now we also have pay-per-view for our events. Big in USA, medium in Canada. Perfect stuff. So that's the broadcasting. In terms of the schedule, obviously we've got the one TV show, TCW presents Total Wrestling. That's actually going to be in the next episode. And then we also have our first event at the end of January. So I think that's going to be episode 6. And that is one of the big 2 events of the year. As you can see, the importance is historic there. And then Total Mayhem in May is a legendary event. So really looking forward to that. And I think we're gonna really enjoy this series. I'm gonna enjoy playing it, and I hope you guys are gonna enjoy watching it. Now, not the end of the episode yet. We've got some signings to do. I want to show the announcers as well. We've got Jason Azaria. You know, he's pretty good. 78B on the announcing, and then we have my character, Kyle Rhodes, the owner or the CEO of TCW. 72B minus color commentary. We might add another color commentator in the future. We'll just have to wait and see. The referee we have he's also pretty good. I think he's got a B for refereeing as well. Now, let's get into the good bit of the episode. Let's go into the creative meeting. We're going to make some signings here. The first person, of course, Greg Gage. Have to get him. Absolutely incredible talent. I have actually already offered him the contract, so I'll just go through who I'm actually going to bring in. I think we can do that on the... Which page is it? Decisions. There we go. Alright, so we're going to bring in Greg Gage. Unfortunately, I did actually record this first episode already, but I had a lot of problems with the recording, and the quality was pretty bad. I didn't want to, start this series off on a sour note, so I have recorded it again. However, I did save at the end of the episode before I checked the recording, so here we are. I've already made all these signings. But as you can see, probably one of the best sort of indie talents that is available at the start of the game. Got a very good lineage through his father and, of course, his brother as well. The Keith family. Doesn't wrestle under that name, but obviously he's very good. I've brought him in, or we're going to try and bring him in. We've also got Kirk Jamison, as I mentioned before. He does often get snapped up by other companies. Excuse me. Sorry, he does actually get snapped up by US Pro, and I think SWF does come in for him. But you can sort of understand why. Really good performer, pretty good technical wrestler as well. Good charisma, 94A star quality. He's pretty good. It's understandable. I really want him though. I think he could be a really good babyface going forward. We then got Nelson Callum, who's another very similar sort of talent. He's also a heel, similar to Greg Gage. And I think I'm actually going to put them in a tag team together, unless the only thing that would prohibit that happening is if they don't have good chemistry together. But hopefully that does not happen. Very, very good performer here. Probably sort of a main event level talent in the future. Only 27. You'll sort of see a theme here that I haven't really signed anyone too old. I think the oldest is 32 years old. So yeah, those guys are going to be in a tag team. I don't know what I'm going to call them yet. But yeah, next guy, Rudy Velasquez, one half of the Latino Kings. Very, very talented. He's definitely the better of the two performers in that tag team. He could possibly be a main event level guy in about 2 or 3 years' time, depending on how he develops. He is 30 years old, so he's not going to develop too much. But I think he's still gonna do a decent job, I would say. And of course, he's got a good tag team partner, albeit not a world beater. And that is Hector Galindo here, also 30 years old. Like I said, not the best in the world, but I think he's got a little bit of improving to do to be a mid-card talent and sort of be in the running for the tag team titles. Really good flashiness, pretty good aerial. I think he'll do a job alongside Rudy, and I'm pretty happy to have another tag team. I felt like we lacked a lot of tag teams, so we're essentially bringing 3 new tag teams in. And this is the other new tag team. It's the Dynamite Express with Cameron Jones and Sid Collier. Cameron Jones, probably a mid-card level talent. Again, needs some developing. Not the greatest in the world. However, his tag team partner, Sid Collier, is. is a very good talent. Excuse me, coughing a lot. Obviously, these episodes are quite long, and the first one was about 30 minutes long. So yeah, I've been talking for quite a while. He's pretty good, and I think he's only going to get better as well. I see him as the better of the two, albeit he's got a bit of a lacking star quality attribute, and that worries me a little bit. A C- is not really good enough. Obviously, there are things we can do to try and increase that. Increasing his size, possibly giving him steroids. Obviously, we don't really want to do that because it can sort of have a negative effect. But I think it's definitely a possibility. The next guy we brought in is Bulldozer Brandon Smith. Of course, if you've watched my New York City wrestling series, it was very successful. He unfortunately left us, I would say pretty early on into the series. He was a good champion while he lasted. I really wanted to keep him, but obviously, once the big boys come a knocking, he's going to leave. And he did. And I was always keeping tabs on him, and I always wanted to get him back. But as you can see, he's pretty incredible. He's the oldest that we're bringing in. He's the 32-year-old. But I think he's going to be a pretty good champion in the future. I see him being a world champion at some stage. And the final guy we're bringing in is Mr. Lucha 3 from Oli in Mexico. He's very, very, very good. He's going to start as a mid-carder, but I see him shooting straight to the top once some of the older guys sort of start to step down and wind up their careers. But yeah, international title challenger for sure. I see him holding that belt. 86 star quality. I mean, really good performance skills and a really good top row. Excuse me. A really good top row as well. I do need a drink of water. Now, I think that's pretty much everything. They're all the signings we're going to make for now. I do have a little list next to me with a couple of names written down, and that is Cali Slick, Mobster, and Ernest Youngman. Those three guys are maybes at the moment. We're going to sort of see how they do with their regional companies, and obviously there's a possibility that they might come in. They're sort of at the top of my list for next signings. Anyway, that is going to wrap this episode up, guys. If you could drop a like on the video, it would be much appreciated. If you could subscribe as well. I'm getting very, very close to 1K subscribers. Voice is dropping out of me. Obviously, I want 1K subs before the end of the year. That's my personal goal. And like I said, we're getting very close as of the time of recording this. So, yeah, thank you very much. Hit the notification bell if you want to keep up to date with these episodes coming out in the future. And apart from that, guys, take it easy, and I'll see you in episode 2.